Well. Let's get into Lightning Strikes Twice. This is a new segment we're going to try out where it's a little bit like a lightning round, but more lightning. We just do one topic each. Neither of us knows what the other is going to bring up, and we're just going to riff on it for 5 minutes apiece.
Yep, let's
You're
go.
welcome. Yeah, I think I'll kick it off. You have the timer ready?
Yep, ready.
Timer is ready. All right. What do you think of Starlink? Because now it's creating like space interference with other satellites.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that is kind of a downside to that. I think Starlink is really cool, especially giving like high-speed internet to rural areas that never had it before. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, you're right. Like the more satellites they put up there, I mean, there's already enough space junk as it is, and
Yeah,
all that has to be tracked whenever something's launched. Because man, even like something in orbit, just a piece of paint or something like that could cause catastrophic problems.
yeah,
So like yeah, trying to avoid all these satellites while launching could, and Starlink isn't the only one doing this too. So it's
right.
gonna get nuts up there.
But they're like exponentially growing their numbers of satellites and stuff. And I mean that the concept is cool and like a really useful tool to develop.
It's helped
But
Ukraine actually a
yeah, but I
lot.
mean, like if we've seen this problem start already, and it's not even like like quite as good as it ought to be to compete with the speeds of like standard fiber
Yeah,
optic stuff.
for full coverage over Earth or something, it's going to require a lot
Yeah.
of satellites.
So it's like, should we like kind of abandon ship or leave it as it is because it's like good enough?
You know that, and the problem is, it's yeah, they have to have a lot of satellites because of the way it's structured. Like it's very low orbit. Uh-oh, my light turned off. I guess nope. We still got time. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of a spooky thing. I'll fix that in between here. But yeah, I mean, I think trying to
Hmm.
oh no,
Hmm.
trying
Lightning
to
is
mitigate.
striking in your room there.
Yeah, the lightning is striking here. Yeah. Um, I think my light switch is going out. But anyway, yeah, trying to I think it's important that we come up with a plan on how to like manage all that
Are your
before.
lights run by Starlink by
Yeah,
chance?
yeah, exactly. They're listening and they're like, "Uh-oh, someone's criticizing the program." Yeah, I mean, I think we need to come up with a way of mitigating stuff like that before it become. Well, I mean, it already is kind of a problem, but before it becomes a really serious problem. Because yeah, that I don't even know what we would do, honestly. I mean,
What
tracking is
even
probably the
what
most.
even governs that? Like, how do people from country to country tackle a problem like that where it's like, hey, your satellites are totally screwing with what ours are doing, and it could be like way more important, subjectively speaking.
Well, yeah, I know that there's treaties between various countries regarding space operations.
Uh,
Like the big players and stuff, like the European Space Agency and Russia and US and stuff. They have kind of agreements on how to manage that stuff. But like there could be, say, some rando country out there that isn't part of any agreements that's like, hey, we're gonna start launching satellites all over the place. And what do we do? How like there should be some kind of planet wide kind of process for that, like an agreement or something that like, hey, because I mean it really is, it's like it needs to be managed somehow, like there, or at least like people need to all be aware of what's going on at the very least, that like people should be transparent and open with what they're doing in space, that way
hmm.
bad stuff doesn't happen. I think it's really important.
Is there any way to like do what it's doing with minimal satellites? Is there some kind of like upper atmosphere sort of thing that could kind of reflect or enhance a satellite signal, but not
There
crash to Earth?
Well, that's the problem, is there already is something like that, and that's your traditional satellite internet. But because those satellites are so far away, the latency is really high. And
Uh,
so this Starlink attempts to solved that by having these satellites, many satellites, very low, because you could get better coverage from far out. But then, yeah, there's that whole distance. Like it takes too long. Like internet's not very responsive at that point. And if you've ever used satellite internet, you'll know what I'm talking about. Um, or
Yeah.
satellite, communications just in general. But
Does
yeah,
it
I don't know. Maybe there's a better way, possibly. Maybe something in
operate on
between.
frequency like radio does, or
Huh? What's that?
I don't really know exactly how it's like beaming information back and forth. Is that like
Oh
a
yeah. Oh,
frequency?
that's
Oh,
that's
damn.
time. Yeah, that's time. Well, that's a good one. We may need to make that into a fuller episode. Let me fix this light real quick.
Kitchen sink difficulties.
That's right. There we go. Yeah, I think the switch is just getting flaky. Okay, so I guess we'll go on to mine, and mine is a little bit of a tomfoolery esque sort of thing, but I have quite a few of these, and these are kind of fun. Okay, so Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Oh, Street Fighter all the way. Like,
I agree, actually, in that.
oh,
Now,
really? Yeah.
well, Mortal Kombat, was it's a cool game. Like it looks cool, and it has obviously it's very gory, which has some appeal too, compared to Street Fighter, which is not nearly as bloody. But Street Fighter, it felt very fluid. Like all the
Yeah.
motions were very fluid, whereas Mortal Kombat, because they used like scans of people, it felt really kind of
Stiff.
clunky. Like yeah,
Yeah.
stiff. Like it didn't have that like fluid motion that Street Fighter had.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know. Street Fighter kind of had like a better cast of characters in a sense, like a broader cast of characters.
Broader
Um,
cast characters. There was kind of like um, a more diverse selection of characters, I felt. But the movement to me was like the big one. The stiffness of Mortal Kombat, and like I don't know, there's no real good trade-off there. Poor Preis-Leistung for helpness, is I think the German word. Like you take all these scans of real human beings and stick them into a 16-bit video game, and it's like you went through all that for nothing. Like it
yeah.
actually kind of looks more like shit than if you just draw a character, right?
Well, yeah, and actually, that's something that like to make another comparison, like the that's kind of similar. The like old classic animated, hand animated Disney movies that have now been live actioned. The live action ones feel very lifeless
Or the
compared.
CGI cartoons.
Yeah,
Like,
well, there are ones that are CGI and there's ones that have actual actors and stuff like that. But
yeah.
it's like there's something you can get, the expressiveness that you can get out of a hand animated cartoon compared to like actual people. It's like, yeah, I mean, the Little Mermaid is a good example. All the little critters that were so lovable, they're
Mhm.
they're kind of scary in the live action one. They are not cute. Because they tried to make them look like actual sea creatures and animals and stuff, and it's like that wasn't the point. It was I don't know. It something's lost.
To go back to the topic, though, another thing that was way better is the soundtrack. Like
Oh yeah,
the Street Fighter music was some of the coolest. Like I still get Ken's level like stuck in my
yep.
head. I could play that on the piano just by ear, like with both hands and with no classical training whatsoever. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
give me the
I
Ken music.
completely agree. Mortal Kombat had kind of a cool soundtrack, but like at least some of the games they were cool enough that they released CDs and stuff, but it was like
Yeah,
all techno kind of like very
yeah.
technified, and Street Fighter had more of like kind of just a synth pop feel to it almost. It was, I don't know, just
Hmm.
I guess it depends on your taste, but yeah, I Street Fighter had way better music.
Okay, what about the movies though? Like,
Ooh, crap.
because the Street Fighter movie was not so good.
No, well, neither the Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
stuff
the
was like
first Mortal
that.
Kombat wasn't great either. The new
Yeah.
one was actually kind of okay. I
Yeah,
don't know if you've seen it, but
that's what I've heard. Yeah, the movies. Well, I think anytime you try to make a video game into a movie, it never really works very well. Like the Doom movie, which I actually kind of like that movie. Um, Tomb Raider, that actually turned out fairly well. for, I mean, it shouldn't have, but it did. It was okay. Um, but yeah, generally, anytime a video game is turned into a
Super
movie,
Mario Brothers. Oh,
oh my God.
like the '90s one.
Yep, that was
Oh,
awful.
the Goombas. Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, so
Like,
Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which I guess is pretty okay once they fixed the spooky graphics that were originally part of it. They made
yeah.
him more like the actual character in the video game.
Mhm.
But generally, yeah, like both of those movies were not very good. I mean, I guess what do you expect? I,
Yeah.
I suppose.
That was some good pressure like on the movie itself. Like they released this like tiny-eyed Sonic and everyone was like, "No, fuck that." And they went and redid everything.
That, I mean, I gotta respect that at least, if they
Yeah.
went to that amount of trouble, because yeah, that would have, that would not have done very well, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the both of those movies were kind of lackluster.
Mhm.
I get the attempt, they tried, but they tried to do too much. Oh, they tried to do too much. That's the point. So,
Ah,
all right, well, that concludes our mini lightning round here. Lightning
yeah,
strikes twice.
I think that went pretty well.
That was a fun one. Yeah.
So
All
if you
right.
want to see those turned into full-length episodes and sit and listen to us yammer on for an hour or so, let us
Yeah.
know in the
Oh, yeah.
comments. Mhm.
Definitely. And yeah, take it easy, everybody.